and welcome back to RealDAMStudio. Get my little clipboard here. Shows here we have RealDAMStudio number 9. Weight check came out pretty good. We'll see that at the end. But I need to explain to you how these RealDAMStudios work. What they are for me, besides the reason to check my weight and keep striving down, is also to try to open up myself a little bit more and who I am to, well, some is my family, my kids, and my grandchildren also live out of the country. I can't travel much anymore, so chances I won't be seeing them much, but through this they can have a chance to see me and get to know me. Now, on this one, RealDAMStudio, my idea what I was going to talk about, and see, I try to share something, either a weight loss thing or something. I try to go from physical things to mental, to kind of keep a balance going. Mental one was to address an issue I was going to put down. First I put down the episode, and then I put down an empty space until I come up with what I want to put in there. And I try to stick to that order. I came up with wanting to talk about an issue where in my family, very few people ever went to college. I was one of them. Yet when it comes down to it, by most people's standards, nothing came of it. I do believe in education, but I'm kind of an example of why not to do it, and that's not was the intention. So I wanted to deal with that issue here. But as I started writing it up, I started getting into a rant. And if you see my other things, my old man rants, this gave me an issue where I would write down what I was trying to keep it not rant. I want to be RealDAMStudio, which is more friendly, more open. I leave the ranting, the angry, as much as I can to that area. It's important, but I'd like to keep them separate. But it was getting hard. So I wrote it down. Find it ranted again. An issue that I've always had. Well, now in this country we've kind of fixed the medical. In my opinion, cut the legs out of the people, the profiteers. That's not what it should be about. And now we got to do the same with education. And again, we got to cut the legs out of the profiteers. Most of the schools are doing nothing but just handing out pieces of paper for classes you attend, or maybe not, you know, and you can't use them half the time in the real world. They used to be applicable. Not so much now. It's starting to come back a little bit, but that's got to keep going with improvement in education. Now, this can go on and on as a rant. And watch out for a rant on higher education. I will be doing that. But instead, I kind of had to write myself a press release, a statement of what I wanted to say and everything about it, without getting too vehement about it at times. So usually we're just like direct talking here. I'm going to have to read from something here. And I'm going to try to throw up images or something to entertain you guys as you're listening to this. So, best way I can deal with it without going off. But I do want it to be understood to my children, my grandchildren, anyone out there, or just anyone listening. This is my opinion on how I feel about this. And I feel strongly about it. In spite of what I experienced. So, keeping that in mind, are you ready? It's about to be story time. As for education, I have taken many classes in fine arts and later performing arts, then a computer animation degree, while almost completing a video and audio degree. I needed just 2 more semesters. I know that kind of jumps into it, but I already talked about the beginning part, so I just came in where it mattered. I never worked a day in my life as a professional computer animator. I was a freelance artist. But anyone who trades a napkin drawing for a cup of coffee is a professional artist. You were paid for art, freelance artists don't even need that to be paid, or don't even need to be paid. I sold at a few galleries, never featured in one. In my later years, I get work. I had to leave everything from my education off my resume. My last job before my heart gave was at Sears. I had put on my application that I had worked at that store once before. I had, right out of high school. I got the same job I had straight out of school. The one I quit because I had great things to do. Same job, same department, same employee number. Ended up, nice little definition of my working life. My artistic goals fell short and never paid the bills, while I fell back on my background training from my parents, banker and retail. Personally, I always felt that both were no more than legalized theft. It embarrassed me publicly to talk about it, and I did not want to be judged by that. It was easy though. Any trained monkey can do it. And many do. Poorly trained ones, actually. A profession where I never worked for anyone who knew their own job better than I knew their job. Ended up training most of the new managers that I worked for. Yet, I was always too valuable where I was. They said they just keep giving me raises until my hourly ended up higher than a new manager that shows up and suddenly he feels threatened and I am no longer needed. This would have crushed me if not for the fact that deep inside, I always knew I wasn't doing it to play and I could have dominated their game. For me, real education began in high school, when I started to send samples to comic book companies so I would be ready to enter the work field when I graduated. I thought 2 years would be enough. I'd actually spent drawing for years. So I didn't come in and do it dry, it's just learning their system and their styles. They would return with what they thought I needed to do to learn to get better. Maybe my mistake was I sent many samples and got many different answers. So I went after classes and covered these areas. Then I would send out a new set. And I did this every 4 months to 6 months sometimes, with their returns and what I needed to learn. I went to many companies, DC, Marvel, there was Eclipse, there were many different companies at the time actually. This is in the 80s. And then I would either find classes of that in school or use the libraries. I was a latchkey kid, so I had time at home for my own studies. This is back when before I got to college, and I had to find other ways to learn what I needed. Then I graduated. I actually went on to a few interviews, was told my copy was too much like this guy or that guy, not enough like this one, and you should really develop your own style. Take a couple years, took fine art courses at community college, every day at least 2 hours a day in my art room or a closet if I ever happened to live. If I missed a day, I made up for it by extra hours the next time. Got it so I could complete 2 pages a day, penciled and inked, with lettering, ready for printing. Sent them in. The response had to do with the writing on the sample, not the art. So now they said I need some drama classes to improve my scripting. So back to community college with performing art classes. Then later, goes out to my next samples, the questions and comments on the fashion style and choices of the people in the comics, as well as more story issues. I just wanted to draw and ink a comic, their stories, where someone else did that. I didn't want to have to create I just wanted to be the artist. But I couldn't get in or anything, and they just kept, Then the big crash of the quality of the comic books came in the late 80s and early 90s. Wow. See another rant I'm working on Superheroes versus Hollywood. But to go on, I quit reading most comic books at that time. So they were no longer worth my time, and now I had stories and art and nowhere to take it. Why was it so hard for people to show others their work? I did not want them to buy it. I just wanted to have people see it. This is when computer animation came in for me. With it, I could create my own comics as cartoons. Actually, this time the cartoons and animated features were getting better than the comic books. So I would learn animation and work on these shows. Still, just wanted to create the art, and stories were still too raw for me and want to share yet. I never wanted to be the boss. There I learned video as well as audio, because from prior to 2000 there was less computer animation stuff to learn, and they filled it with video and audio, which was advantageous to me. I'm glad they did that. So now that I had the tools, I wanted my stuff seen, and I learned of public access. They offered further education in how to make TV, and that led me to learn and earn my awards. The current greatest validation of my education and my art. I wanted to learn how to do things for me, to know and to do, not to sell. I learned what I wanted to learn. Education is the only true and fair way to judge everyone, if you feel you need to do so. But only if everyone had the same access to education, and everyone should. Then we will all be better, informed, educated, never a bad thing. Controlling education by price limitations of class availability? Who has anything to gain by that, I say? Who? To me, it started when I started public access, and now here on YouTube. No money, just sitting here making noise, my noise. Well, that's me. Maybe someone will need to hear what I had to say, and it changed the world, and then it's worth it. I never said the world had to change for the better, just that I had to cause a change. Now, I sit here and pump after hour of work onto the airwaves, cable, internet. Look at it or don't. At this point, I'm beyond your judgment. Some worry that they are going to steal my work, but I'll know, and they will know. And if they had to steal it from me, there's literally no chance they can do a better job with it than I would have done, and possibly for nothing or very simple, just some acknowledgement. In the end, it's their loss, not mine. Should have bought my art when it was in a gallery. Then I might have been nicer about it all. Thank you, and have a good evening.